Most people have intuitive understanding of what it means to something to be alive. However, it is surprisingly hard to come up with a precise definition of life. So what is life? What does it mean to be alive? You are alive, and so am I. The dog I can hear barking is alive, and so the trees outside my window. However, some snow falling from the sky is not alive. And organ system are the highest levels of complexity forming the human organism.
Hi, I'm Juan.
So here is an example of biological life.
And I had a brain injury in July 20th of 2013. I choked on my own vomit. My mom found me up there, right above our heads.
He was pretty much blue and was in a very bad shape. So I just reacted. I just took him down to the floor immediately, tried to do some CPR. And in the meantime, my daughter realized what was going on, and so she helped me with that, and she called the 911. And in just a matter of seconds, probably they were here. And when we got there, the people in the hospital was telling us that he was leaving. They were pretty much telling us that we had to say goodbye. Sorry. Took me back to that day.
The vegetative state is a condition that's often referred to as wakefulness without awareness. It's a very curious condition in which patients open their eyes. They'll have sleeping and wake cycles. So, in a sense, they're animate, but they're non-responsive. If you try and stimulate them, if you ask them to look in a particular direction or to move their hand, they won't do any of that. So they're entirely non-responsive, but they are nevertheless awake and animate.
I remember just being at the hospital. It felt like I was trapped in my body. I was just convinced that I was going to break through it.
Well, this is obviously an incredibly sad, heartbreaking situation. It's also very confusing for a lot of people. So let's start off by talking about some of the terms here. Brain death. Brain death is not the same as being in a coma or a vegetative state. Brain death, by definition, is irreversible. Now, in the United States and most places, it is legally synonymous with death, the same as if your heart stops. But brain death means a total loss of brain activity. Now, to determine it, doctors will often do several things. A physical exam, for example, shine light into the pupils and see, do they dilate, do they move and constrict? Gently rub the eyeball with some cotton and see if the eye reacts that way. Sometimes they'll put ice water into the ears and see if the eyes move in a particular fashion. These are all tests of the brain stem. They'll also do something known as an apnea test. That means they turn off the ventilator for several minutes and see if the person shows any signs of breathing on their own. As confirmation, oftentimes they'll do scans to check to see if there's blood flow to the brain and also test to see if there's electrical activity from the brain. But again, it's that detailed clinical neurological exam that is so important. Now, coma, if it goes on for an extended period of time, is called a vegetative state. And there's a fair amount of interesting research in this area. In a rare handful of cases, for example, people who have been in a vegetative state for years have returned to some level of consciousness. This is rare, but it does happen. But again, brain death is something else entirely. There is no activity in the brain. There is no blood flow to the brain. It is a grim situation, but again, something that a trained doctor can pretty easily diagnose.
I hope I delivered an adequate representation between these different terms. Thank you for watching.